This question has been asked by philosophers for thousands of years. Does money bring happiness? Is there a certain amount of money that if I had it, I would finally be happy? As a psychologist and a psychiatrist, I have some thoughts on this. But first, let's look at what the science has to say. So they actually did a study. They took a bunch of people, divided them into two groups, gave one group a bunch of money, and then followed both groups over the course of several years. And they found that after the initial kind of excitement of receiving a large sum of money wore off, both groups were equally happy. The group that received the money didn't remain happier than the control group. There are certain things that money can buy that may lead to happiness, but those things are not always what we expect. There is such a thing as the hedonic treadmill, which is basically the idea that we get used to things. And so if you win the lottery and you get $10 million, sure, you might be pretty happy for a while. You might be very excited for a while. You might take your family on trips and do all these fun things, but you get used to it. Your new baseline becomes that new car that you drive around. That new beautiful house that you live in. That amazing vacation that you just came back from. And so that becomes the new normal. And then you want something more. So even though objectively you shouldn't be able to be happier because you have more money, more things, more resources, most people return to their baseline level of happiness. So does that mean that money doesn't buy happiness? Well, it depends on what you mean by happiness. If you mean like a deep, abiding, like contentment, then no, money does not buy that. But money can buy experiences. Money can buy opportunities. Money can buy you removing negative emotions like fear and anxiety. It can buy you comfort, but it doesn't necessarily buy you happiness. Think about the basic needs that we have. We need food, we need water, we need shelter. And then beyond that, we need safety, security, things like health insurance, or maybe life insurance. Then we have things like a retirement, savings, college funds for our children. So those are all really practical things. Those are all things that money can buy that can make life easier. And certainly having those things can remove a lot of stress. I think another reason that people think that money will make them happy is because when we're stressed or anxious or depressed, we're not thinking clearly. We can't think about solutions. We can't problem solve. Money can buy you the ability to take a step back and reassess what's going on in your life. It can buy you the ability to take a break, to go on vacation, to remove yourself from whatever it is that's causing you distress, and then come back and look at it with fresh eyes. And so, yes, money can buy happiness, in that it can buy you the ability to remove negative emotions. Another way that money can buy happiness is that it can buy you opportunities. It can buy you education. It can buy you experiences. It can buy you meeting new people. So money itself isn't bad. It's what we expect it to bring us that is often not realistic. We tend to think that if we just had a certain amount of money, then our lives would be perfect. But money doesn't solve relationship problems. It doesn't solve issues with family or friends. It doesn't solve problems with self-esteem or self-confidence. It doesn't solve problems with addiction or trauma or grief. Those things require therapy. Those things require work. Those things require time. So if you're struggling right now and you think, man, if I just had more money, my life would be so much better. I would be so much happier. I strongly encourage you to seek out therapy, to talk to somebody, to process through what you going through, because chances are you not going to find the kind of happiness you looking for at the end of that rainbow pot of gold. I hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching.